Hello everybody, Rudy Fruity here, and I'm coming at you with a bit of a Tekken advice video. Just recently, I reached the red ranks in Tekken 8, and because of that, I think I'm the expert on the game to be able to tell you how to reach the red ranks yourself. Now, I'm going to be giving you a few tips that you could apply to your online matches. But of course, remember, you have to practice it yourself. Okay? So let's go to the first tip, which is kind of funny, but be aggressive. Yes, in Tekken 8, they made a big change where being aggressive is very beneficial. Still though, you do have to keep in mind of things like frame advantage and stuff like that. So if stuff gets blocked, usually it's going to be minus. So, and by minus, I mean you have a disadvantage on your next move if both you and your opponent were to act right after the move is blocked. Okay. But yeah, generally though, being offensive is avoided. Like, you regain health after taking damage, and you just put the pressure on your opponent. The heat system has a lot of beneficial qualities to a lot of characters' moves. I think pretty much every character. But yeah, it's just taking some time to figure out how to utilize the heat is key to success in being aggressive. More on heat later. Now, another thing about being aggressive is you gotta know what moves to use. Like I said, there's things about frame advantage and stuff, and Tekken has hundreds of moves you gotta memorize for every single character. But here's the thing, I think you really only need to learn like a few key moves from certain characters. Well, pretty much every character, you only really need to learn a handful of moves. I would suggest when you're starting your Tekken journey, you really only need 3 moves to play the game. I would say focus on losing at least 3 moves, maybe more if you have the brain capacity for it. But I'm kind of assuming some of you are just starting out. Maybe some of you are just barely learning how to apply yourself in Tekken a little bit more. So I use Claudio, for example. There's really only 3 moves I really worry about, which is his running 2, his back 1, and his sidestep 4. So 4, right? So I got a high, mid, and a low. The mid in particular is very good because when it's a mid, so you can't duck it, you have to stand block it, and it covers tracking opponents. It covers sidestepping opponents, excuse me. So that is very useful there. So kind of watching some high level matches, which is kind of hard to say because the game is about 2 weeks old at this point. But yeah, looking for some sort of high level matches, high level players would definitely look for the moves that are the most usable in a lot of situations, like the winning 2, for instance. Yes, it has its drawbacks. It could be ducked, it could be sidestepped, but if it's blocked, I have frame advantage and it's my turn after. So yeah, learning moves like that, like what moves are usable in a lot of different situations and are beneficial to you, will help you reach the red ranks for sure. Next thing I want to talk about is managing your heat well. Yeah, so heat, a lot of people I see in the lower ranks sort of just use the heat activation and then they heat smash. Which heat smash is a very strong mechanic. It's a very strong move, but you have other benefits to using heat. For example, Claudio, he gets Starburst every single time he uses a Starburst move while in heat. So I like to just constantly spam, what is it? Down 1-2, down 1-2, because it's plus. And it keeps on being plus because I keep on having Starburst. A lot of people at the lower ranks don't know how to deal with that, which is kind of funny. And I do that and it uses up the heat gauge. And then when I have very little heat left is when I cash out and do the heat smash. Because the heat smash, it doesn't matter how much heat is left. It's gonna do full damage all the time when you land it. Okay, Another piece of advice I'd mention with using heat is to use heat defensively. After you've taken some damage and the opponent wants to run their momentum on you, using heat in the right situations, like when they're using high or low, not low, a mid, high and a mid, is when you want to use your heat smash or heat activation move. And you can use this as sort of like a get off tool. And then you could run your offense because you're a +1. Not a huge amount of advantage, but when it hits or when it's blocked, you're at +1. I'm pretty sure it's when you're blocked. I didn't look at the screen. I'll tell you whether or not it's plus or not. Anyways, yeah, it gives you the chance to sort of reset the momentum and have a chance to come back in the round. Another thing I would advise is to learn your Rage Art Punish. Now, a lot of people go for grabs, which is okay, you know, but you're trying to get better, you know, you're trying to climb the ranks. Just throwing the opponent after you block their Rage Art isn't always going to guarantee that you KO them and take the round. Learning what move punishes the Rage Art will just help you close out rounds. You could launch them with a lot of characters, but you gotta be fast, so it is something you definitely gotta practice. And the last piece of advice, which is still related to Rage Art, is for you to use your Rage Art sparingly. Now, the reason why I say don't just to use your Rage Art every chance you get or every time you see the enemy running at you is you could get baited. That's the first thing. You know, once your health bar glows red, everybody knows it. You are looking at the same screen, so everybody would know you have the Rage Art trigger finger ready to go. So don't give in, hold on to it, because you get a small damage boost while in Rage. This has been a thing since Rage was introduced. So now your basic combos are going to do just a little bit more damage, and depending on how big the deficit of life is between you and your opponent, that could be the difference between coming back in a round. So that's it. Those are the tips I would give to you for reaching the red ranks. It's really all I did. It's all I kept in mind. Reaching the red ranks is not that hard. I think the yellow and orange ranks are actually the new green and blue ranks that were in Tekken 7. Mostly because, well, you can't lose points until you reach the yellow ranks. So, because of that, you really don't start to have to think just a little bit until you get to red ranks, I think. Because I'm playing in the red ranks right now. There's players with a bit more knowledge about the game. Like, they know the punishes a little bit better. Some of them are inconsistent, but, you know, we're all learning here. And that's the great thing about Tekken 8. That has a lot of tools for you to learn and get better. Okay? So, good luck, everybody. Hope you use these tips, and let me know if they're helpful for you. Subscribe if you like Tekken, because I'm doing hella Tekken content, and also I just do nerd stuff, so you're very much welcome to. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.